Yeah? Are you having fun
Yes.
on this nasty, rainy Tuesday?
Yes.
Good, good. As Officer Rick mentioned, my name is Steve Patterson. I'm the mayor of the City of Athens. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself, and then I'll get into what I do, because I'm sure that a lot of you have that question. What does the mayor do on a daily basis? I am originally not from Athens, Ohio. I'm originally from a place called Portland, Oregon, which is where I was growing up. Do you know Portland?
Yeah.
Ah, right on. I grew up there. I joined the Air Force. I was in the Air Force for 23 years. And during that time, I also landed a job teaching at Ohio University. I was a professor at Ohio University for, how many people in here have parents or friends who work at Ohio University? Yeah. I used to as well for 18 years. Come January of this year, when I became mayor, I left my job at Ohio University to become the full-time mayor of the city of Athens because my job is full-time. Some cities, it's not full-time. Some cities, the mayor, it's a part-time job, and they have what's called a city manager who pretty much runs the city. But in Athens, our form of government set up to where this is my full-time gig. So I do this literally 24/7, every waking hour and sleeping hour. I'm the mayor of the city of Athens. Some of my responsibilities, just to kind of give you the big picture as to what I do as the chief executive of the city, is that I am responsible for making sure that all of the laws of the city, what we refer to as the Athens City Code, that all the laws are being administered and being enforced. I am also responsible for making sure that the city is being fiscally responsible for spending money, the taxpayer dollars. I'm also have oversight over several departments. To kind of give you an idea, I have people who report directly to me. Those individuals, I don't know if you've met them today or not, but Service Safety Director Paula Horan Mosley. I know you met the Deputy Service Safety Director, Ron Lucas, but his boss, Service Safety Director, she reports directly to me. The person who's in charge of kind of hiring people, the office is called Human Relations, HR. That person reports directly to me, as does our city planner reports directly to me. And then I have some other just office staff that is my direct report. Underneath the Service Safety Director, which is really kind of interesting in our city government, all the other departments, so the fire department, the police department, the code enforcement office, the wastewater treatment plant, the water treatment plant where our water comes from, those all in streets, our engineering department, all fall under Paula Mosley. Those individuals all report to her, and then she in turn reports to me. So that's kind of our level of hierarchy. I know you've got one of your city council members, our city council member here, council member Pete Kotsis. Pete is part of which branch of government? Does anybody know? Has anybody spoken to this guy over here yet, or is he just kind of hanging out?
We were talking.
Which branch is he part of? Do you know? He's at large, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a little secret. Pete's in my former seat. But anyway, it's a whole different story. Which branch of government is he part of? Legislative. Very good. There's legislative, there's administrative or executive, and then there's the judicial branch. Judicial branch, have you guys met with the law director? Will you? Yeah, so law director Lisa Eliason and her staff, the prosecuting attorneys, that is the legislative branch. So those are the main branches. As Pete may have told you already, the legislative branch, they're the ones who make the laws. And so my office enforces the laws for the city of Athens. That said, that was a whole lot of stuff that hopefully some of you were tracking. I'm going to turn it over because I know you guys have questions for me, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Show of hands. Who wants to? I'll try to go around and we'll get to as many questions as possible. You.
How many years have you been mayor?
I have been mayor for 11 months. So not even a year yet. I'm a newbie. Once I get through January, now then I become an old mayor. Ooh, that's a terrible question. What's my favorite baseball team? You know, the Cleveland Indians and the Seattle Mariners. Who's like Seattle? Yeah, see, I'm biased because that was the only team we had in the Pacific Northwest when I was growing up. Favorite football team? Seattle Seahawks. How about a non-sports related question? It's impossible.
What is it like to be a mayor?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of meeting with different people. I try to meet with all the business leaders in the city, all the business owners. I also meet with a lot of citizens. When I was campaigning for becoming mayor, and before that, campaigning to become a city council member, which I was for 2 terms, I would do a lot of door knocking. I'd go knock on people's doors and just get to know them, ask them what their thoughts were when it comes to the city and how good, kind of like a report card. You guys all get report cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, government, we should be getting report cards too, telling us how we're doing. Are we doing well? Did we get an A? Did we get a B? Are we doing terrible and we're getting a D or a D minus?
Or an F.
Well, let's hope we don't go there. But yes, or an F. Yeah.
How do you think your people act towards you?
How do I think, which people? I mean,
Like the people in the
in the city government?
yes,
People that work for me?
yes.
That's an interesting question. I believe that we have a really good working relationship together and that my philosophy, the way I do things, again, this is my history of being in the Air Force as well as being faculty at Ohio University, is that I take a very collaborative approach. I have some very, very bright people who are on my staff who work with me because you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, especially when you're working in the world that I work in. And so I have some really great people, and I think that I think that relationship goes back and forth both ways. I'm the one who ultimately makes decisions on things, but I don't make them without getting advice from my staff. Yeah.
Yara would like to know what is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Ooh, hands down, Thai food.
It's Thai food.
Taiwanese food. That's my favorite. And then my second favorite is Indian food. My least favorite, well, I won't go to my least.
Just
No, now I want to know.
yeah. I want to know, please.
Fast food hamburgers is my worst food. Don't like it. Won't eat it. Let me just put it this way. I'll just say I'm not a big fan of fast food, and I'll leave it at that.
He doesn't like corn
No,
dogs.
well, I'll get to you next. What work do I do as a mayor? I get hundreds upon hundreds of emails every day, so I try to read through them all and respond to the ones that I need to. A lot of it is decision making of things that are going on. I get a lot of emails from city council members asking, if we can make certain changes in the city. We weigh them out and try to do them. Also, one of the things that is part of my role is to look, how do we better improve the city of Athens? I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't know if the Deputy Service Safety Director mentioned this to you, Mr. Lucas, is that we've got these new solar operated trash cans on Court Street. Have you seen those? Those are cool, aren't they? So it's making changes like that to try and figure out ways to better enhance the city of Athens and make it a livable place. So that's basically my daily life. And then I'm a parent and a husband, so I've got a full life. Yeah.
What do you like to do?
What do I like to do?
What do you like?
Engage with people. I like talking to groups of people like this. I like talking with people one-on-one. I like getting ideas from people. I like to travel. I like to go to other cities and see what they're doing and try to steal their ideas. That's not a bad thing. Look at what they're doing differently, that maybe we can implement that here. I also like telling other municipalities how great this city is, and I do that a lot. I'm probably one of the #1 cheerleaders for the city of Athens because we are a great, great community.
Okay, that's
right
weird
there.
because I'm a cheese.
No, right here, in the blue. Why did I want to be mayor? You know, I joined the Air Force when I was 20 years old, and as I mentioned, I was involved in the Air Force for 23 years, which is public service. You know, I'm serving the country as faculty at Ohio University. I worked there for 18 years. I viewed that as public service too because I was an instructor. I taught. And being on city council for 4 years, again as a public servant. Being a public servant for more than half of my life is kind of who I am. And so when the opportunity came up to be the mayor of the city of Athens, I thought, you know, and I spoke to my wife about this, you know, I'm married and I have two 4.5-year-old twin daughters. And we all had a group meeting and said, you know what do you think? Do you think I should do this? And they all said, yeah, you know, let's go ahead and do this because I think you'd make a good mayor. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, why. I wanted to serve the community. I want to make the city a better place. I'm going to go to the back row back here. Yeah, sure.
Is it hard to be the mayor?
Sometimes. But what I've learned, it's a world of compromise. You know, it's kind of like, I'm sure a lot of you at home, there's compromises you make. I want to have candy before I eat. Well, instead, let's eat your vegetables and eat your dinner, and maybe you can get something after, right? Compromises like that, or TV watching or whatever. My world is a lot of compromise, a lot of negotiating back and forth to kind of come to a good place for everybody.
Do you go to every Monday?
I do. That's a great question. I go to every Monday night meeting, much like your father goes to every Monday night meeting, or the ones that he can. I do. That's part of my role. But then I go to lots of meetings all week long. My weeks are full of meetings. Yeah, back in the back. Striped shirt, yep.
What is your third favorite food?
Bagel Street. No, just kidding. My third favorite food? Kale chips.
I love kale chips.
Kale is the magical food. It's awesome. Serious, I like kale chips. My wife is the master of making them. Over here, yep. I'll get to you. What other jobs? I've had a lot of jobs in my life. My very first job was picking strawberries. My second job was being a paper delivery person. Then I worked in restaurants when I was in high school, and then I worked for UPS during the summer. Then I can go on and on and on. I've had a lot of jobs in my life, but I think the most rewarding jobs for me were the jobs that I had when I was in the military. Interestingly, I used to build nuclear weapons for a living in the Air Force. Was he in the military? Yeah. I also worked on communication systems when I was in the Air Force. But I have to say, and I'm not just saying this to say this, one of the most interesting and often rewarding jobs is the one I'm doing right now, being the mayor of the city of Athens.
What do you do as the mayor?
My daily routine,
What do you do as the mayor?
what do I do as the mayor? Make a lot of decisions. Listen to a lot of people and try to come up with the best solution to people's problems that they might have. Most important part of the job is making sure that our city is a safe and accepting place to live. It's not an easy thing to do. I've got a great police department, a great fire department, a great code office. I've got great departments, but that's probably the biggest thing. You know, how many of you remember the big fire that was on West Union right downtown here? That was a terrible day. And those things worry me. where I sit and I think about those kind of events. So just making sure that everything is safe and running smoothly, making sure we have good, clean drinking water, and we do. Things like that.
How long you will be mayor?
How long will I be mayor? Well, the mayor's term is 4 years. So 4 years, but my hope is that I'm mayor longer than 4 years, but that's up to the citizens of Athens to whether, well, thank you. I just need you to grow, become 16 and then, absolutely. 18. 18. Here, yeah, you.
Can I tell you a joke?
Sure, you can tell me a joke.
Okay, what did the first train conductor say to the second train conductor before they crashed?
I don't know. What did the first train conductor say to the second train conductor before they crashed?
At least we trained for this.
Very good. How many people in Athens? The last census of Athens, I believe, was just a little less than 24,000 people in Athens. I think it's 23,800 and something. Yeah, so we're not a big city, but we're a great city. 11 square miles. 11 square miles, 194 one-way miles of streets in Athens. Somewhere around 39, 40,000, possibly 50, 50,000, no, not 50,000. 49, 50 miles of sidewalks in Athens. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but we have a lot of neighborhoods that don't actually have sidewalks. Do any of you live in a neighborhood that doesn't have the sidewalks? Yeah, we have a lot of neighborhoods where my neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks. It's kind of a walkable neighborhood or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
How old are you?
How old am I? Are you supposed to ask the mayor how old he is? I'm going to tell you. I'm 56.
Wow. I thought you were 43.
I could be 43. Yeah, I'm 43. No, I'm 56. I don't think it's old. You're only as old as you think you are. No, not 32, not 42. I'm 56. I was born in 1960.
Okay, you look a lot younger than me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're my hero.
I have a joke and a question.
Okay, joke first.
Why was the mushroom the head of the party?
I don't know why the mushroom was the hit of the party.
Because he was a fun guy.
That's good.
My question is, what if he got sick?
What if I get sick? Well, if I get sick, then I would stay home so I don't spread whatever I've got.
Who'll run the meeting?
That's a good question. The person who would be, who would take my place if I became sick would be the president of city council. President Chris Knisely would become acting mayor until I was well again, and then I would come back and resume my position. If I was sick and President Knisely were sick, then it would fall to the law director. Law Director Lisa Eliason would become acting mayor, and then once I became well again, then I would resume my role as mayor. Or if I go away, if I go to a conference, which I did in early November, I went to a conference in Pittsburgh. I was away for 3 days, and during that time, President Knisely was the acting mayor. She was the one who would sign things, run the meetings, be there, and
But who would be President Knisely?
then it would become what's called President Pro Tem, and that is typically Council Member Kent Butler. Yep, Kent Butler.
He's in the first ward seat.
Yep. My favorite color.
There seems to be like the black.
Yeah, but no, it's not. My favorite color is blue. True blue? I like blue. Um, and since I have two daughters, my second favorite color is pink. Yeah. Say again? That's a wonderful question. I'll wait until she comes back to answer that question since she asked it. Compared to New York, how large is the city? You know, I would go so far as to say that the city of Athens is probably smaller than the smallest borough within New York City. We are small in comparison to New York City. As a matter of fact, to even come close to New York City, we would probably have to grow in size by, this is a guess, 40 or 400, 300 to 400 fold. I mean, New York City is huge. You know, we're 23,000. All of Hawaii?
Bassam.
I don't know.
Bassam. Think of everyone else raising their hands waiting for questions.
Right back here. Yeah.
I have an interesting fact to share. Your wife was her professor.
Is that right?
What?
Dr. Patterson was your prof. Go figure. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
What do you do? What happens if you get sick?
They were in the.
Oh, I
Oh.
said that, Maddie.
If I get sick, then the president of city council becomes what's called the acting mayor. She would take over my position until I got well again, and then I would come back and tell her, please leave my seat, and then I would take over. Sorry? What do I want to improve? One of the biggest things I want to improve is the uptown area here in the city of Athens, to make it to where it's more family friendly again and has things that people would like to do and see on Court Street. I also want to improve our swimming pool. That's coming. We need a new swimming pool. Our swimming pool is basically 14 years younger than I am. It's 42 years old and it's old. Needs to be improved. So replace that. I want to enhance our city parks, make our parks better places, make some hiking trail parks in the city. There's a possibility that we can make some major improvements on the south side of the city to make a new trail network up in that area. I'd also like to make sure and see in time, and this is where I'm working with Councilmember Pete Katsas, to make the city a more walkable, bikeable, friendly city. That's a big order. It's a big order for a city that's 200 plus years old. The city of Athens is almost 220 years old. We're old. We've got a lot of old infrastructure, that meaning streets and whatnot. But there's a way we can make this happen. It's just going to take some time. I'm going to go in the back corner over here.
Oh, yeah, I can
Is it hard? Sometimes. Sometimes, not always, but a lot of times it can be hard, especially if, and this happens sometimes, where someone's really angry about something and I have to sit and try to help them understand why something is the way it is, or try to come up with a solution to fix whatever it is that's really troubling them. Other times, it's pretty easy. No, I should say easy. It's not as complicated. If I could be anywhere in the world, where would I want to be? Right here. Right here in this room with all of you. The second place I would like to have been is, had I the time, I would like to have gone out in support of the individuals who didn't want a pipeline going underneath some Native American lands. I'm part Native American Indian, and that affected me in a different way than others, but I got it. But as I understand it, things are going in a good direction. But I would like to have been out there to support those who believe that their water quality could have been really, and possibly still could be, negatively impacted. But I think hopefully we're in a good place. But I'd like to have been out there. I would have. It would have been really interesting. Yes. How do you know that?
Because I think I used to know them, but then I forgot their names.
That's exactly what their names is. Adelia and Alana, my wonderful, crazy twin daughters. Did you know them at the Child Development Center? Yeah. Did you ask a question already? I'll come back around to you. Who hasn't asked the question yet?
I have a joke to hand.
Okay, I love jokes. Let it rip.
What did Han say to the vending machine?
What did the hand say to the vending machine? I don't know.
I want some slacks. It says slack.
Okay,
How old are your daughters?
they'll be 5 come January 2nd. It's interesting, just as a side note to all this, my political career, I can follow along with their birthdays. They were born the day I took office as a city council member. And so I just they have only known their dad in some political capacity. Yeah, Spider-Man. Can we make the skate park bigger? No. No, not at this point in time. The skate park's in pretty good shape. I think there's some other things that we really need to do. I'll share with you. One of the things I'd like to see is a more manageable, easy access place to play soccer. So I'm exploring some things there. But I've got a long ways to go with that. But I see some other improvements that could be made. The skate park's in a pretty good shape. Needs some touch up every now and then because somebody decides they want to paint some terrible things on it. So we have to work on that.
Were you in the Air Force?
I was in the Air Force. Yep, full time for 9 years, and the rest of the time was as an Air National Guardsman working out of Washington, D.C. I used to drive from here to Washington, D.C. once a month, which was a long drive.
My dad was
Is that right? Yeah. Let me get the person right behind you. Yep, yep. How old is my wife? I can't tell you, because if she found out that I told you, she would never talk to me ever again.
We'll find out then. Just tell us.
She's 38.
Wow. You're 56. 38 and 56. She just gotta walk and she can see.
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna get it. Are they still in preschool? You know they are. Yeah, they're still in preschool. They're going to kindergarten next year. You know where they're going? No, unfortunately not. Well, it's not unfortunate. That came out all wrong. No, they're going to Morrison Gordon.
Oh.
That's the district we live in. So that's where they're going to school.
My sister goes to Morrison.
Is that right? Morrison's a good school. All the schools are good schools.
West people are sort of.
Anybody else not ask a question yet? How many years have I been working here? This is my 5th year working for the city government. And prior to that, again, like I said, I was teaching at OU for 18 years. And some of that was at the same time. What Councilmember Katsas, the job that he holds with the city government is essentially a part-time job because he has a full-time job to where he runs, as he may have told you already, a bicycle shop here in town, Athens Bicycle. But for me, this is my full-time job. Black glove, yeah. Yeah. 2 jokes.
Why did the skeleton go to the party?
Why did the skeleton go to the party?
Didn't the skeleton? No,
Why?
I did bowl.
Okay. What's your second one?
What did the baseball captain say to the vending machine? What?
What did the baseball captain,
No, what did the baseball cap say to the vending?
oh, the baseball cap say to the vending machine? I have no idea.
Give me my quarter back. Oh, yeah. I have a joke. This is like Hunter's, but it has a different one. Why did Skeleton go to the ball?
Why didn't he go to the ball?
Because he had no body to go with.
Oh, that's a good one. Any question that's not a joke?
I have one.
Okay.
How many in an estimate days have you been working?
In an estimate, I would say that I've been working about 337 days.
336 days is in a year, so. Okay, so you've been working 2 days over a year.
Give or take.
Almost 2 days. Almost a year. I don't know.
Yep.
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal. You know, I've always been fond of platypuses because they're so bizarre.
Oh, that sounds great. Mine are raccoons.
But the other thing, I like cats. I like dogs. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a dog, but I used to. I used to have a big Siberian Husky.
I have a Great Dane. Where is
Great
he?
Dane.
And 2 wiener dogs.
He passed away. My favorite place to go? My favorite place to go is, I really like going up into Sells Park. I like the trails up in Sells Park here in Athens. Another place I really like to go is up into the Hocking Hills. I think that's pretty up there to get away sometimes. But a lot of times, I like staying right here. You know, I like exploring different things, going in the different neighborhoods. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You. Yes. My favorite dessert. Creme brulee.
Oh, yeah. What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday? That's an interesting question. I would have to say my favorite holiday is Veterans Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
I like Veterans Day a lot. You know, I like other holidays too. You know, I like Christmas and I like Thanksgiving and I like those. But Veterans Day is meaningful to me because I am a veteran. I served in the military during times of conflict. Griffin? Sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You haven't asked one yet. I have 3 younger brothers and an older sister.
Wow.
Yeah. I am the oldest boy of 4 boys.
Whoa. I have a joke and 2 questions.
How about the 2 questions? We'll start with those.
You should put a ski area around here.
You know what? I like you. I'm a skier, and I think that'd be really awesome, except snowmaking could be a problem unless we truck it in from somewhere.
My other, Alaska. We do own it. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is I like volleyball.
Yes.
I like watching football, like everyone else. I like softball too. I used to play for years and years and years on the adult softball league here in Athens. So I love softball. I like gymnastics. I like ice skating. I like tennis. I like ultimate frisbee. I like mountain biking. I'll just hit it all. Yeah. I don't. Our cat of 16 years passed away about 2 years ago. So we're still thinking, once we move into our new house, then we may get a new pet. But right now we don't. Good for you. What kind of dog? Nice. Now I have a question for you guys. How many of you want to go on and someday go into politics? How many of you think you would like to someday become the mayor of a city? Not Athens, right? I need this job for a while longer. How many of you want to do what Mr. Katsas does? Be a council member, make laws. Let me share one thing with you guys real quick. My reason for asking those questions is I remember when I was in third grade, I really do. And because it was in third grade when you really start to kind of think about things on a global level. Not that you don't in second, but you start thinking things different. You're at that age level where you start to think about things different. I want you to know something, and I mean this with all sincerity. You guys can be whatever you want to be. And I mean that. I believe that. I really do. My life has really was enchanted, I believe. I think that opportunities opened themselves to me. I took that risk. I took a big risk becoming the mayor of the city of Athens, and I think it was the right risk. Oddly, I had job security for the rest of my life. I was a professor at OU. I had what's called tenure. I could teach there for the rest of my days, but I opted to leave that job, to take a risk, to do something that I felt was more impactful than what I was doing. I loved what I was doing, but I share that with you just because I think living your life and taking risks, positive risks, and just being whatever you think you want to be. Take whatever skills, whatever things you like to do, and use that you like to do. It could be a sport, it can be an activity, it could be whatever. Use that when you get older, and morph that into what you ultimately end up doing someday. And you know what? Trust me, looking around this room of bright faces, you guys are all going to go on and do great things. This country needs you to do great things. The city needs you to do great things. You need to do great things for yourself. You guys have been great. I've really enjoyed being with you. I assume that my time is probably close to an end. That's what I thought. I was kind of reading body language there. I love being with you. If you have questions, if you still have questions, you guys can email me.
What's your phone number?
Oh, I won't give you my phone number, but I'll give you, maybe I'll share this with teachers.
We can get it
I'll have to
from Rick.
go down and get a card. But yeah, let them send me emails.
Can I tell you my mom?
Officer Rick can get us that
Okay,
information. Yeah.
good, good.
That'll work.
Officer Rick will get that to your teachers so that you guys have it.
Get it for us.
So I want to thank you all. You guys have been great.